Welcome back. In this video, we'll be going over how to create a contact list and horizontal list using the list from data source component on the right-hand side over here. As you can see, we're back in our event app with our LFD samples, and we have two of them on this screen right over here. So in this video, we'll start with the beginner level modifications that you can do to the list from data source. These include creating the data, editing data without modifying the structure of the list, searching the list, filter options, changing the order, and the number of records to display. So all of this is customizable. You can check it out in the preview, and I'll show you how to customize some of it right now. So as you can see, we've got two LFDs here. We've got the horizontal list and the vertical contact list. So what we're going to do in this video is kind of go over the more beginner level skills that are required to use the LFD component, which include creating the data source, editing the data without modifying the structure of either of these lists, searching those lists, filtering options, and changing the order and number of records to display. So a lot of this kind of all ties together, but you can edit the component just as you do the other ones by clicking on the highlighted orange area. And you'll see that the kind of configurable options pop out on the side here. We don't have a list of data yet. This is just the default list that pops up. So what we're going to do is create one, and I'm just going to call this contacts sample data and click OK. And then I'm going to save and close this tab. You do have to save and close every time you make modifications so that they're confirmed. So right now I can go ahead and edit the list data. When that pops up, you can see all of the data that's currently existing in the app. So you can see that we've got some columns that are already included, such as first name, last name, title, location, image, email, and a couple of other ones. You can customize these, but we'll go over that in a different video. So to begin, what I would recommend doing, if you're looking to have a list that's the exact same structure and you don't want to copy and paste directly into this kind of Excel-looking data source, I would copy the column titles verbatim and then copy them back into your own Excel or Google Sheets format, and then modify your data to kind of match this format so that you can just copy and paste right into here. That's going to be a lot easier. So I'll show you how to create data. Basically, if I was copying and pasting from something else, that would be it. But what I'm going to do here is add myself with just a few parameters. So I'm not going to add images or much more than this, actually. The rest of it is not really necessary. And then I'm going to save these changes. So I'm going to see myself reflected in the cards here. Whenever you change the data, this will pop up unless you click Don't Show This Again. I always leave that on just because if I update the column names in my data table, I need to ensure that all my settings match the right fields. So the column names really dictate everything else in your app on this page anyways. If you change a column name, make sure that it's changed in the filtering and the sorting and all that. Otherwise, those parts of the component will break because they no longer match. So hopefully that makes sense. And once I hit save, I'm going to appear in the bottom right down there. So I'm going to save and close to make sure that I apply those changes. And there I am, voila. Now that we've created the data, I'm going to edit it without modifying the existing structure of the list. So as you can see, I've just added myself on the bottom there. So let's just click to confirm that we're modifying the right data source. And it has popped up right over here. So what I'm going to do is change the fields that I want to display here. So let's say I don't want the location to be displayed anymore. You click on the summary view fields and scroll down to the location. You can select none and save and close. That should remove the location from all of the options right here. So you've just modified kind of the way the data looks in the existing structure. So you don't need to change anything around, nothing too complicated. And we can also change how we want to sort our list. I'm happy with the first name alphabetical for now, and the filtering should be good. Let's say we want to change kind of how the list is searched. Right now we have search by first name, last name, and title. So if we want to then search by location, what we have to do is add the location here. By default, all of our options that are our column headers will pop up here. So you simply have to click on location, and that will pop up as a searchable term. So what we're going to do is save and close and take a look at this in the preview before we move on. So once that pops up here, we'll take a look. So right now we can search by first name. So I'll search for myself and I pop up right there. To exit that option, I'm going to backspace out to the entire list and I'm going to search for Toronto. Right now that doesn't come up because it's not a first name, last name, or title. So what we're going to do if we want to search by location is go back here and click on our data source, go to the configurables when it pops open, and I want to be able to search by location, so I'm going to add that. Even though it doesn't display on the card right here, that's just a display setting. The search settings are different, so I'm going to allow users to search by the list item by location. You can also choose what filters you want, but I'll show you how those look in a little bit in the preview. And what I'm going to do is save and close this. So there we go, and go back to the preview. So I should now be able to search by location. So I'll search for Toronto. There we go. So now I pop up for Toronto despite not having the location displayed on my card. I can add that back really easily. But in the meantime, I'll show you the filtering options. So if you exit out of the search, your cursor isn't on there anymore, or your thumb, the filtering options will pop up and they'll pop down here. You can also have these as an overlay if you want to. It's configurable in the settings, but by now we're just going to filter by the different areas that we want to. I'm going to filter by London and by business. You can by default scroll over here, but as you add filters, the list will shorten based on who matches those filters. So Mary Jane, as we can see, matches these two filters. She's got business and she's got London. And then you can see her little bio and the options that have been configured in the form. So that is pretty easy. I'm going to exit out of here, go back to edit, and change some of the records to display. So we'll go back in here. If I want to switch it up in terms of what's displayed on the cards, you kind of already saw that. So I'm going to adjust the fields that I want to display and go back to location because I do want that to pop up. And for now, I'm going to leave the click action as show the detailed view. I don't want to open an external link because I want people to stay in my app. If you do want to open an external link, so say to go to their Twitter or LinkedIn or something like that, that's definitely an option too, or to go to another page of the app. But for now, we're going to leave it in the show detailed view. I can also add a number of detailed view fields here. So I can add kind of the bio sectors, or I can add a new field. We don't right now have any new fields in our form, in our data form, so I'm not going to do anything with that. Just going to save and close here. And the location should pop back up. There we go. So the location is now on the cards. And if you had changed anything in the detailed view, that's where it would be reflected, is when you click on a location card, or sorry, an image card, and the card pops open and all of that information would be displayed. So that's pretty much it. Changing the number of list items to show will basically change how many items are shown right here. So let's say we only want to see the first three entries. And we'll save and close that here. only the first 3 entries should pop up. So it's showing the first 3 list items. If those were the most important list items that you wanted to display, you can do that. And then you can search or filter to add more. So say you have, hundreds of people attending your conference, or you've got a number of people in your directory, and you only want the first few relevant heads of the departments to be available, for example, that's when that would be an applicable option. But I don't really care about filtering that way, so I'm going to erase this and have everybody pop back up. And as you could probably see, there's also some developer options here. We're not going to go into that right now, as that's a more advanced kind of tutorial. So we've covered all of the basic or beginner options when it comes to editing a contact list. And in the next video, we'll cover how to kind of integrate this horizontal list at the top and modify some structures of the data sources and detailed view. So we'll go into that in our next video.